I cannot believe this. After upsetting fans by canceling your live stream last minute, after upsetting fans by not coming out for over an hour, and after upsetting fans by delivering a very uninspired and unenthusiastic performance, Frank Ocean has managed to sink his public opinion even more right now, as he's just canceled his week 2 performance at Coachella. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I'm genuinely sorry to any single person who bought tickets, made arrangements, took off of work, and took all of the time that's necessary to plan a Coachella trip. I mean, it is not an easy festival to A, have the money for, and B, be able to do properly. So I'm sure everybody who was going put a lot into going to see Frank Ocean. And I really just feel bad for those people. Those are the people who are getting the worst end of this because, as I've said in previous videos, you can't get a refund for this. There is nothing that can be done. You just got to suck it up and show up to the festival and try to make the best of it. I mean, fortunately, there are other really good music acts. It's Coachella, but at the end of the day, you're not going to forget that your favorite artist let you down and disappeared. I mean, literally disappeared. And, just looking at it even more, Frank Ocean, based on both the subject matter of his music and the elusiveness of his personality, he is such an intimate artist and his fans are really dedicated and really attached. I mean, this is not like Drake headlining a festival or J. Cole. Like, people legit are flying out from every single corner of the world to the Coachella desert to see this man perform. And now they're going to show up and find out that their favorite artist is not going to be there. I mean, I'm literally sure there are people on the plane right now who are going to get off and they're going to find out that all they went through is for nothing. And that really breaks my heart because if I was in their position, it would just be devastating. I would not wish something like this on my worst enemy, like for real. I mean, again, this whole Frank Ocean thing, it reminds me of that one SpongeBob episode where Patchy the Pirate finds the lost episode and it's a big letdown, and then he just rips out all of his SpongeBob merchandise. Like, that is the way I genuinely feel that Frank Ocean fans probably are right now. Like, you really, banked so much into getting this long-awaited return of Frank. I mean, so many people have been hyped up for this for so long. First, you got that tease in 2020, and then the thing happened that I can't mention because YouTube will flag this video, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And then, that gets delayed, and then 3 years later, you're finally getting that performance, and nothing happens. I mean, that's really sad. That's really freaking sad. Like, I'm not even, mad. I'm just upset. I'm upset at Frank Ocean for, inflicting all of this loss on your fans. And I know that Frank Ocean broke his ankle. And listen, injuries are something not to play around with. I hope he has a speedy recovery because, breaking a bone sucks. It's something nobody wants to do. But with that said, Killer Mike has performed with a broken collarbone. You can look it up. There's pictures of him with a sling on and the mic in the other hand rapping. 2 Chainz has performed with a broken leg. He literally just performed in the wheelchair. And playing devil's advocate, you gotta just look at it like this. Frank Ocean could have very well sat in a chair or sat in a wheelchair and done his best to salvage the performance. And again, it's all about the intentions and the openness of what's going on. If Frank revealed to people that his ankle was broken, and he said, I'm trying to pull through for you guys, everybody would praise him. Honestly, Frank doing something like that would be more remembered than him if he was just doing a normal performance, no matter how good it was. Because when an artist overcomes an obstacle like that, that is something that fans don't forget. I mean, just look at it in the sports world, where Michael Jordan had the flu game, and there's so many other examples where players were sick or they were hurt and they overcame injuries. And those are the things you remember. You talk more about Michael Jordan's flu game than the games that he had better that were just random nights. Frank Ocean would have been immortalized in music culture. I mean, he's already a legend. Like, let's just make this clear too. Frank Ocean doing all this, it does not change the fact that he is one of the best singers of all time, that he's one of the best R&B artists of all time, that Blonde is one of the best albums of all time. Like, none of that changes because of this, because I've heard some people saying like, oh, his music sucks now. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I just wanted to say that real quick. But my point is, Frank Ocean, if he showed that he would really pull through for his fans, like, I don't think anybody would say anything. And this would be one of those things that, would always be highlighted. Every single year, people would remember it. People would look up to this performance as like an inspiring moment where an artist pulled through to deliver such a highly anticipated performance. Now, I'm not here to bash Frank Ocean. Like, I don't have any ill will against him. I'm just disappointed because you understand how many people have spent and wasted so much now for you to just let them down. I mean, as an artist, that is not morally right. I mean, it's not scamming, but it really is on the borderline of scamming. Let's just be real. So, in the grand picture of it all, I think that something is going on behind the scenes that we don't understand and that we don't know about. And if there's something deeper going on with Frank Ocean, I hope he gets better, as I've already said. But at the end of the day, you signed a contract to do a job, and you should be doing that job unless you pulled out at another time. Like, you had a lot of time to pull out. I said this in my last video. Kanye West pulled out of Coachella like 2 weeks before the performance. I mean, they already replaced Frank with Blink-182, which in itself, that is not going to be good for, the overall festival, just because that's not what people want to see. I think, they maybe could have done something a little better, maybe have gotten The Weeknd or an artist who is more universally loved and who has a similar fan base as Frank Ocean. Not that Blink-182 is not universally loved, but that's a completely different era, sound, and demographic of fans that are targeted. So I think that there's going to be a lot of drama with that. I mean, I'm sure Blink will deliver a really solid set, but I'm sure that a lot of people are going to just be furious just because of everything that happened, almost like what happened with Kid Cudi and Kanye at Rolling Loud in 2022 at Miami. But this is just not good. As I look at this all, I hope Frank Ocean gets better. I hope he can come back from this because I don't like to see anybody down. It's sad when everybody's got to bash an artist who, genuinely has done great things for us because he's given us timeless music. And I'm just speaking from my own experience. Like Blonde and Channel Orange and Endless and Nostalgia Ultra, those albums, those records have picked me up in some really dark times. So, like, I'm not going to sit here and turn my back on Frank, but at the same time, what he did is 100% wrong. And he really owes his fans something big for this because what he did, it's just not right. It's just not right. These people are literally on the plane as you are watching this video, and they're going to get off and they're going to find out that their artist that they put so much into seeing is not going to be there. I mean, this is one of the biggest slaps in the face. And I mean, I'm sure with Coachella, this is like really, really bad for them because when you look at it in the grand picture of it all, they are going to have to do a ton of damage control. They are going to have to really go all out next year for the festival. And they're also probably taking a big loss on this year's festival. I mean, just alone, you see they already got fined every single night, like $100K just for going over the curfew time by like 5 minutes, which is insane. But I mean, laws are laws. They're not going to be able to change that. But they're already losing a lot of money. So now between all of the bad press, all of the complaints, and everything that Frank has put upon them, it's just not looking good for them. I think in the bigger picture of this all now, with Coachella having to remove Travis Scott from the lineup last year after Astroworld, with Kanye West pulling out 2 weeks before the festival, and now with Frank Ocean pulling out days before the second week of the festival, I think that something major is going to change in the music festival business. I just don't think that these companies are going to be as willing to give these artists as much money or even willing to book artists who are less likely to show up and who are more likely to just cause overall logistical issues and to make them lose a lot of money. I think that things are going to change, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the industry responds to this, how the future of festivals are affected, and how Coachella will move going forward now that the last 2 years have been pretty chaotic in terms of people paying for something, not getting that, and having to do these really quick fixes. Now, fortunately, last year they had enough time. They were able to get the weekend, which, I mean, pretty much for festival headliners, that's like the best replacement you could get for Kanye. Like, realistically, the weekend and Drake, I feel like, are the only, true fitting artists who could replace somebody like Kanye, maybe like Jay-Z too, but, it's a small list. So, fortunately, last year they were kind of able to save themselves, but replacing Frank with Blink 182, that's not going to sit over well with a lot of people. And I mean, really replacing Frank with anybody would not go over well with a lot of people because that's the type of artist that Frank Ocean is. So, finally, we saw Frank Ocean last week. It didn't live up to the hype. And now we are living in the aftermath of this complete musical turmoil that has happened. After Drake got booed off stage, after people have spent countless amounts of dollars, after releasing a $27,000, can't say what, but the $27,000 ring now wasn't for your finger. Every single thing that Frank Ocean has done has culminated to this point, and I think a lot of people are just livid at him. And I don't know what will happen. Hopefully, Frank Ocean can come back and restore his public image, and hopefully Frank Ocean recovers. If he's going through something mentally, I hope he's okay. But at the end of the day, these artists need to be held accountable when they don't deliver on the services that they are paid for. If you had a job and you didn't show up, you'd probably be fired. If you had a big obligation that you were being paid for and you did something like this, you would be fired. And if me and you could lose our jobs and we could lose what we've built for doing stuff like this, these artists should also be held liable for not living up to what they promised. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. I wanted to upload other videos all week, like album reviews. I have some cool posts, some video essays. I have a really cool exclusive interview dropping. So if you're interested in that, it's with a hip hop, well, it's related around a really legendary hip hop album. Let me just put it like that and let me leave it there. But if you are interested in things like that, please hit that subscribe button and let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. I'm really curious to just see how everybody's feeling. And, even if you're just really upset and you just need a space to talk, to vent, I will read your comment and I will respond and I will try to make you feel better. I don't know what I could do, but hey, I'm here. Thank you for watching. Mr. Fantastic, Fantastic Hip Hop, signing out.